What a day, what a day. I haven't got anybody on the live stream yet, but I'm gonna keep going with this for a second. Let me just put that around here. I'm not set up. This is as and when it happens. Let's just prop that up over here. We're using a staple gun now to prop it up. Let's have a look now. Not exactly professional video in here, but there we are. It's real. It's happening. Well, look. Let's just pull that across here now. And come back around here a bit. There we go. Well, as you can see, I've been grafting. I've been doing the daily grind today, and on my lonesome today. And unfortunately, one of the lads that works for me, his mother passed away unfortunately last week, so he's having to deal with some stuff today. But there you are. Yeah, pricing. It's an odd one, isn't it? For some, they don't fully understand it. They don't get it. The consumer and the contractor. Just briefly, I'll tell you the story. On the way back now, I had a phone call of a potential client to say that he'd had another quote. My quote, I'll tell you now, came out at 7,200 or something like that. Not quite sure what it was. It was sent off this morning, somewhere in that region. And Alice, my wife, normally takes care of the quotes, but I know it was somewhere around there. And he's had another quote, and the quote was for £1,000. Okay, £1,000. And to be fair to the client, he told this other person who he found on Checker Trade or My Builder, one of those, and he said that he told him what he wanted. It was similar to mine, but do you ever get a like-for-like quote? And the fact is, you probably will never get a like-for-like quote simply by going by the price. And it's a big difference, isn't it? From 7,200 till 300, whatever it was, to £1,000. Okay. Now I actually come up with a concept design for this. I thought about it in great depth, and I thought about the appearance, what sort of soil we're going to use, what sort of paving, how much had to be dug out, access to the garden, having to get into the garden. And that was a big consideration because it was a long path. It was right down the other end of the garden. So we had to remove a fair amount of bad soil. And that was the point, was when I explained to the customer during the phone call conversation, he didn't realize that if you're putting a good sub base in, you got to take some soil out, and he didn't realize that. And specification in a quote, how much do you do? How much specification do you do? You don't want to frighten them off, but the fact is that you have to tell them. You have to be honest. You have to say about what sort of paving you're using, what sort of timber, like in this case, what sort of timbers and sleepers that we were going to use for the raised beds, how many we were going to use, the length, the width, the depth. And there was 80% of the clarity within the quote because he had seen the design. He actually knew the length of it as well. Alan Gibson, hi Johnny, I've done my sub base 4-ton type 1, 11-ton. Have a look what limestone dust. Perfect. Cheers, Alan. No problem at all, mate. I'm here to help, and I know for a fact that a lot of the guys that contribute to this channel add massive value. Wheaton is absolutely brilliant with his responses. He comes back, it's clinical with the response he comes back onto. Great, thank you, Wheaton, for that. But look, pricing, you need to get it right, and from both ends, the consumer has to understand what he's actually having for his money. But there's a vast difference, and the client had said to me, this potential client, it said that, 7 times the amount of the other quote. But is it 7 times the amount? Is it a like-for-like quote? So for the consumer, there's a few safeguards that you have to have in place when choosing your contractor. And there's a few of those. One, being able to see some of the work that potential contractor is going to do for you. Being able to physically go along and having a look at that work, okay? Taking a phone call of some previous clients that he's done some work for. Have a look at some references, okay, and check those references out. he should be an open book. Okay, so this is some advice for the consumer as well. If you hear some barking in the meantime, it's not me going barking mad, it's just one of the dogs. So there's a few things that you have to take in consideration as a consumer. References is key, making sure that they're part of a professional body, and there's lots of professional bodies out there, but it's the right professional bodies. And I'm afraid to say that when you look at My Builder and check a trade, okay, is it what they say it is? Okay, are you getting what they're implying that you're getting? You know, that they've checked these trades out. You know, I think without doubt, the only not the only, one of the most professional bodies out there at the moment is Marshalls and Brett Pavements and the paving companies that have been going a long time. They have vetted their contractors. Okay, they've gone out, they sent an assessor out to have a look at their work, and they've checked their work out, which is how it should be. Okay, that's how it should be. I'm going to carry on, though there's a bark at the moment. It's not putting me off, but I just want you guys to think that I've gone barking mad. So you know, we were Marshalls approved for some time, and they do go out and check your work. Again, BALI, which is the British Association of Landscape Industries. We were BALI approved as well at one time. Do I need the accreditation now? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. I think it's great to be part of a professional body, simply because it adds value. It shows your potential client that you care about what you're doing. Hi, Daryl, how's it going? Good to see Daryl on here. Why aren't you on the group, Daryl? Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, showing you're part of a professional body, BALI, the British Association of Landscape Industry. And before we go back to Marshalls, I'm not endorsing any of these at the moment. I'm saying that they're good, but Marshalls paving, certainly their concrete block paving, is it the best? No, it's not. I don't, in my opinion, I don't think it is. I'm not having a go at them, but as a professional organization, that installers list, that registered installer, I think it's absolutely perfect. I think they've got it right, and they have this insurance where the work is guaranteed, the 10-year guarantee. It used to be, and if there's any problem with that work, they guarantee that it's going to be done, even if the contractor went bust that you took the guarantee out with. This is the message to the consumer now, is that the fact is, just going to get rid of that now. That's the thing about these Androids. There we go. Yeah, they have a guarantee, a 10-year guarantee, and it's backed by an underwriter, which is absolutely brilliant, and that works perfectly. Even if the contractor goes bust or go through, God forbid, they'll still get somebody out to do your drive, and it works. I know it does. I've seen it. I've seen it work. Okay. Then you've got the APL, the Association of Professional Landscapers. Great. You know, they go through. I'm not sure how good it is sometimes for the contractor, because today with the social network platforms that we actually have, they're growing fast. The only thing about the social network platforms, that these platforms and these forums, just like the group that I run, Landscape Survival with Johnyboy, they are without doubt, they belong to Facebook. Alan says, so important just to be receptive to the people that's coming on here and showing some courtesy. Any ideas for putting sand infill on a green without a drop spreader? Well, that's a difficult one. You've got to sort of try and distribute that sand, Alan, in the right manner, and it's a difficult one without a spreader. You can go down to your local hire place and probably hire a spreader. You know, just have a look. It won't be expensive for the day, or even, you know, for a few hours. There's plenty of companies out there that can actually do that. Have a look online, check it out, and let me know how you get on. So we've been talking about some of these professional bodies that are actually in place. Yeah, no problem. How do you make a slurry? Well, Glenn Dodd, how do you make a slurry? Well, very easily. But do you really want to make a slurry? I'll tell you now. I'll tell you what, that's a good question. Very, very simple. It's just, I don't know if I should say this because it's not the right technical term to use, but it's basically a sticky product to stick to the slab, which the slab will adhere to your laying course, And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I actually used Aspec's Easy Slurry recently. SBR, yeah, absolutely, you put SBR in. SBR is a waterproofer. So one thing that you have to take in consideration, Glenn there, I think it's Glenn, SBR is it's a waterproofer. It's going to stop the moisture sucking through. So if you're using a brush and grout, okay, which has a porosity value which allows the water to go down, you don't necessarily be using an SBR in that really, but it's the joints that the porous brushing products that it goes through, not necessarily for the slab. And you'll have a lot of companies out there telling you to use an SBR on the back to stop the moisture sucking through and showing through on top. You know, I think if they tell you to use a slurry mix, if you're buying paving, check out with your supplier of your paving products to ensure that you know that you're getting that right with them. You need to do what it says on the can to have some resource. But to be honest with you, some of these slurry mixes now, it's cheaper to buy those. I used one from Aspects a little while ago up in Stockton on Tees. We did a job there along with Jeff from Aspects, and that small little 2.5 kilogram bag went a long way. And it wasn't a weak mix. It was a good mix. It went absolutely perfect. I think it covered probably about 17 square meters. But what I done, I put it on with a roller, which is a lot more simpler. Put it on the roller, poured it all in a bucket, and we put it on with the roller, so it went on there nice and even. And it was said that the manufacturer advised not to go an inch within the edge of the perimeter of the slab. So when you're picking up, you're not getting your fingers back on top. I think that's a good idea, because that slurry on your hand doesn't do any good, so you should be wearing gloves. But for me, I always keep a bucket and a sponge to one side. Same used brushed first and then switched to roller. Do you mix with cement? Yeah, you do. Cement, SBR, and you can put a bit of PVA in there as well. And what I have done, I've put a bit of sharp sand as well to give it a bit of bond as well. So that will key in. But you can do that, but if you think about the time and the effort and the cost of actually buying all that, you might as well go and buy a slurry mix. Alan Gibson, just found one to hire, but they want £16 a day, but I can buy one from Toolstation for £22. Well, Al, I'd say something now, mate. That is brilliant. You've gone on there and you've been forward thinking. You've gone on there straight away. You found one. Great information, because that's what it's about. I'm just going to read what you say there. We were just talking to Alan about whether we could get a spreader to distribute sand, and he's actually gone online. He's found the higher ones at £16 a day, but you can actually buy one from Toolstation for £22. Is it the same one, and will it do the same job? I suppose, Alan, is the next question that you've got to ask yourself. So if you could share that link, Alan, on this post now, that'd be absolutely great for other people, other consumers that are actually using it. Just going back to the pricing thing now, is that if you're a consumer out there, you really need to make sure that you get some specification in there. What type of timber, if you're using sleepers, how long they're going to be. Obviously, that would come with a design if you had a design being done. You know, there's homegrown timber and there's a lot of imported stuff as well. And you need to make sure that the product that you're using is going to be up to standard for what you wanted, what you're going to be using it for. And it's as simple as that. Even the soil, what sort of soil that you're going to be using, whether it's treated soil and where it has no contaminants in there, because a lot of that soil that the contractors bring in, you see it all too often, it could contain even knotweed, Japanese knotweed. You need to make sure that the spec that you're having, if they're backfilling those sleepers, those beds, those vegetable boxes, is suitable for your needs, okay? And what's the word? I can't remember what it is now. Suitable for purpose, you know. I'm lost. It's been a long day. So, you know, the other thing, of course, is that depending on what sort of contractor you use, one of the things I talked about was whether they have the right insurance in place, whether they got the public liability, whether they have any insurance on their vehicle that they're driving around in. And like I said, you need those safeguards. You need to start ticking those boxes. Like I said, references, being able to phone up some people they've done some work for, making sure they've got some insurance, going along and physically and having a look at that work, having a look at some pictures, a portfolio, making sure they're members of a professional body. Some of the bodies that I just talked about, what you will find is that Checker Trade and My Builder is not a professional body, and they've said that they've actually checked those people out, but the fact is that leaves a little bit to be desired. If you look at some of those professional bodies that I talked about, like Marshalls and Brett, who have those installers lists, there's a few people out there that have those installers list and approved registered contractors, and they've been vetted, and that's the thing about it. So there we are. I was just a little bit frustrated when I was on the phone just now, coming back, speaking to that client, and you know, when you're driving along, I was hands-free, and you're driving along, and that client is asking those questions. You know, when we do a quote, we're very serious about those quotes. You know, we take length by width by depth, full specification, what type of slab, how are we going to dig it out, you know, how many times did you see contractors turning up on a project, okay, and just taking the grass off and laying it on the soil. It happens, doesn't it? I actually seen it many years ago on Ground Force with Tommy Walsh was actually doing it. I'll send you a pic when I've finished, says Alan Gibson. Fantastic. Look forward to that, Alan. Thank you very much. I remember years ago, Tommy Walsh, it wasn't necessarily probably his fault, but maybe he should have said, but they laid those Moroccan, they did a Moroccan garden, and they laid that Moroccan paving on, they took the grass off and they laid it on soil, no sub base whatsoever. So when this potential customer come back to me today and said, you know, they can do it for £1,000, I knew that it didn't make sense whatsoever. And the fact is, our overheads are a lot more. We've got people that work for us. We have to pay PAYE, we have to pay insurance, we have to pay for tires, we have to pay for advertising. It just goes on and on and on. And these are some of the things that the consumer has to take into consideration when you get a quote. Look at all of it. Then you need to, and don't necessarily blame your contractor. The reason that you've chose that contractor, like in this case with this contractor, this customer that's chosen us, is because they were able to see us on the internet, on Instagram, on YouTube, and it's transparent. It is what you see. There's no hidden agendas. There's no ambiguity in it whatsoever. Don't go down the road by getting a quote and accepting it if you haven't had a full written itemized quote. Just don't do it. Be careful about giving deposits as well. That's another thing. Probably take it's okay to give a booking fee, because I think that's fair, simply because you can reserve the right to cancel at any time, and then that contractor has booked you in and then you cancel at the last moment. That's not good at all, and that's not fair. So a booking fee is good. How you balance that, I think that's entirely up to you. I think that's the thing that you have to think about, okay? But giving money to somebody that you don't know and you've never checked them out, you know, I think, you know, that's absolutely fine. If you know who they are and you're happy and you feel comfortable about it, then do it. But make sure that you've done all those other checks as well in the meantime. Well, look, that's it. Thanks very much for watching this. There'll be more vlogs following soon. I'm going to go and have a shower now. As you can see, this is real. It's not corporate. It is as and when it happens. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. I'll see you soon. All the best. Don't forget, subscribe. Cheers, Alan. Thanks for watching.